out there, YouTube? Welcome back to Ultra Human. My name is Rachel Muir, and I am here to help you become your best human. And we're doing that together, and that's kind of what today's subject is about. We're talking about the 5 reasons that your goals are making you depressed. So, I like to watch a lot of other people's channels and vlogs, of course. I watch a lot of videos about vlogging and getting things done and things like that. So there's a lot of talk out there about setting your goals and how to achieve your goals. And I'd like to take a different look at that, and that is just a lot of people that I know personally that set some goals and then they put them out to the side, or they even maybe they write them down and they walk away from them. They actually find that these goals that they set are kind of a source of depression and sadness. And I think obviously there's a lot of reasons that we move on sometimes from what we wanted to achieve, but I'm just going to hit these 5 things that I think are major reasons I see that the fact that people set a goal that they're not achieving causes them to become depressed. So the first one is when you have goals that are not very well defined. So just for kind of an example of this, I want to make a lot of money, or I want to make more money. And there's a million people have said it before, but yeah, okay, you want to, Tony Robbins is the one that comes to mind. You want to make more money? Here's $1. There you go, you got more money. That's, you know, it's not very hard to achieve something that's very ambiguous, but you aren't ever going to feel like you arrived. You didn't arrive at wealth. You just, you know, wanted something kind of, and I see this become a thing that causes people to become really sad because they think that they're not actually getting where they want to be. Well, maybe they are. It's just that they never put a box around that thing that they wanted at the end. So they don't really... Trying to think of a personal example of a thing like that. I wanted to spend more time with my kids. Okay, great. Well, guess what? I am a full-time student, and I was full-time student and working full-time. We managed to work things out within our family where I only work 1 day a week, and I was taking all my classes online, and I was spending lots of time with my kids, but it was not the kind of time I wanted to spend with my kids. It was just a lot of intensive caregiving. I was making a lot of meals. I was fighting to get any kind of personal time. And that wasn't really what I wanted. But it was what I asked for. I asked the universe, myself, I asked for more time with my kids, and that's what I got. But it really wasn't... I didn't define that box well enough, and now here I am, and I've redefined that box. I want to spend more quality time creating memories and educating my children where we're all having fun. So that's my new box that I want to work towards building and fitting everything into. So moving on to number 2, goals that just aren't actionable. So, for example, for a long time, I have had wanting my YouTube channel, literally for years, since, because it was the year I discovered Corporate Report, and that was 2013. So 5 years now, 5 years, I have been planning on starting a YouTube channel, and now way back then it was going to be a news channel, an information channel on various things, a lot of things that might fall under conspiracy theory, but I wanted to dig up facts and bring them to people and everything, and the irony was that when I started looking up how to make YouTube channel video things, back in 2013, that was when I discovered the Corbett Report and realized that his level of knowledge and how long he'd been doing his show and the gap from there to where I was so vast. And one of the things that he even said in that video was just get out there, just do it. It doesn't matter if it's great. It doesn't matter if you fall on your face. The more people that are getting out there and making this information available, it's very important. So I didn't listen to that at the time because I felt kind of embarrassed that I had so much I really needed to learn still. And ultimately, that's not where my heart was as far as what I would have stuck with. But I do wish I had started back then, because I'd have more experience now with things like standing in front of a camera and editing video and all those kinds of things, even if that wasn't where my channel had gone. But it's those actionable steps that if you can't break down your goal into, become these nagging background things that really can cause a depression, or maybe short term you're depressed, and then the way that you deal with that is you just give up on your goal. It's a lot easier to give up on something than constantly be guilt tripping yourself about not doing it. So for example, one of the reasons I haven't been doing YouTube videos is because of this lovely background. It's just fabulous. But here I am, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my job of communicating with you guys. So sometimes those actionable steps seem scary or embarrassing, or they're outside of your comfort zone, and that's what you're beating yourself up over. And if that's the case, smash that comfort zone. Just stop it. I probably don't know you personally, and even if I knew you personally and you were my friend, like I hope we are one day, I wouldn't be that embarrassed about my messy shelves. I'm dealing with it. Part of my life. So whenever you have those little barriers that are really just due to embarrassment, or you just haven't broken things down because it seems so insurmountable, which we're getting to, just turn it into small actions and small steps. When you have a goal, it's really nice to break it down into your whys by asking why you want to achieve that goal, and then asking why about the why, and why about that why 5 times. So I'm going to give you an example from one of the things I was just working on, and here goes. So, why do I want to be free and without restrictions on what I can do with my time and my money? Because I want to travel with and to see the people that I love, and so I can experience new places and things. So that's the answer to my initial goal. So the next why would be, why do I want to travel with and to the people that I love and experience new places and things? Because we live in an amazing world and I want to have experiences that touch my soul. So, and so on and so forth. So that's my second why answer. Then I would ask, so why do I want to lose my place? Live why do I think that we live in an amazing world and want to experience things that touch my soul? So that's a nice way, because eventually you really bring it down to the essence of what it is you want to achieve about that goal, what it is you're trying to do with that bigger action. So for example, one of the things that I discovered sort of by doing this, 2 of my goals are, one is I want my bachelor's degree in biology. Another one of my goals is I want 100,000 subscribers and to be making enough of an income on YouTube that this is what I can do, not exactly full-time because I have other things that I want to do with my life too, but as like a main focus of my time and energies, just because I think that I can reach the most people through YouTube and various social medias and things. When I broke each of those down into the why, I realized that the one of those that was actually way more important to me is this channel, is reaching people on YouTube and through the internet and through making a website and writing blogs and contacting people where I can really personally affect people. That's what's a lot more important to me. And the reason that I want that bachelor's degree is basically purely so that I feel like I'm qualified to give you this advice. Now, I have a lot of personal experience in overcoming health obstacles and getting my shit together as far as the various ways that we can really become our best humans. And so to that extent, that's why I'm here now and I'm getting started, and this is the thing that I'm passionate about sharing with you. But that bachelor's degree is kind of just a caveat for doing more of this. And I'm a little questioning, well, do I need a bachelor's degree to do that? And I still kind of feel like I do. And I get a lot of value out of my experience in school. So we'll see where that takes us. 4 comes kind of back to the actionable steps. And that is maybe you have not zoomed out far enough from your goal. And to explain what I mean by that, I meant to link in this video to a TED Talk that I realized I watched years and years ago, but that's where I really got this idea from. And unfortunately, I couldn't find it. So in the future, if I find it, I will add it to the description. Otherwise, if anybody has ever come across this video and you can help find it for me, that'd be great. But there's a TED Talks where there's a woman speaking about how she does goal planning exercises with organizations for the most part. And the way that she describes it is like there is a mountain peak, and that peak of that mountain is your goal. And so if you're standing at the bottom of a valley and looking at that mountain peak, it looks really insurmountable. But her point was that as long as you can see it, then you can see the path to get there. And so I'm going to just kind of talk about 4 and 5 at the same time because, or at least introduce 5, I'll talk more specifically about that next. But 5 would be, you're not zoomed in enough. First we're going to talk about, have you zoomed out enough? And that is the path. So you realize that you have this goal. Maybe you want to get paid $10,000 a year to speak in front of big crowds of people, but you still have stage fright. I don't know. Maybe that's your thing. You could be, maybe you want to be a doctor, or maybe you want to be, hopefully you want to be a chiropractor. But anything that you are shooting for that seems like a really big thing, or even sometimes it's those little things, like maybe you want a newer car, but because it's, for whatever reason, you're just not actually zoomed out on what that path to the new car looks like. And so you haven't broken down those steps. But even if you are like, well, okay, I'm gonna save some money, have you decided what the car is? Like, do you know where car dealerships are that you could drive by? Maybe you could change your route to work so you could drive by a car dealership and scope out the cars and kind of check out the prices and that sort of thing. Those are just some kind of very vague examples. I really wish I had that link to the video. But zooming out from wherever your goal is and kind of looking at the big picture of what that means to get there is really important, and it can lead to everything kind of falling apart and then beating yourself up because you're not taking those daily actions. If you can't get up and you don't know, if you just get up every day and you see that mountain outside your window and you're like, gosh, it'd be really great to hike up that mountain one of these days, but you're not getting any closer to it, eventually it's just going to be this big disappointment staring you in the face of you never got up and did it. So that's pretty depressing. But we all can do it. And maybe there's different levels to which you can achieve things. Maybe you have to tweak how that mountaintop looks for you. But so zooming out. 5 is zooming in. So more specifically in that TED Talk that I can't find for the life of me, this woman addressed, so she was working with a group who, they were an AIDS They were helping elderly people who had AIDS. And so she went to them. They were doing a workshop for goal setting, and she was like, okay, so what is your goal as an organization? If everything went exactly how you wanted it, what would happen? And I think that's a good question for organizations in general. It's like, okay, so the Pink Ribbon Foundation, for example, what is your goal? Like, is it a world where no one gets breast cancer, or is it a world where we have a cure for breast cancer? Or what does that mean exactly? Like, less people are getting breast cancer in the first place. So for this organization, it was just a world without AIDS, which is pretty great, grandiose thing, and that's great. We should all shoot for those things. If you're going to be an organization, you might as well have a goal that is as big as it could possibly be, because you also have the manpower of the planet, however many people you can ever get behind your cause, to possibly achieve that goal. So certainly for an organization, but as an individual, when you are looking at, for example, the goal of, I want to make $75,000 a year. What does that look like? What does your life look like when you make $70,000 a year? Do you have a maid? Do you get Blue Apron meals delivered to your door? Do you use a personal assistant to respond to emails? Do you have, what kind of a car do you drive? What kind of commute do you have? Do you have a commute? Are you working from home? Especially on a goal as vague as like an income number, but anything, it's like fit that goal into real life. And what does that world look like? What does the world look like where you're a doctor? What does the world look like where you have a new home? Like, whatever it is, take that goal and zoom right in on the moment when you are looking around in your life and realize that, like, oh yeah, this is that thing that I've been working for this whole time, and I'm living in it right now. What is that going to look like for you? And if you can't imagine that, and maybe I should have addressed this before the zooming out thing. If you can't imagine that, it's going to be really hard to zoom out from there. But once you have that vision in place of, like, what does the world look like with my goal in it, the achieved goal in it, what does that world look like? Not just your life, also, how does it affect the people around you? How do people respond to you when you're that person or you have that thing achieved in your life? And then it's a lot easier to step back and zoom out and see, like, what does the path to that actually look like? So those are the 5 reasons that your goals right now might be making you depressed. First, if they are not well defined, if they are not actionable, if you have not zoomed out far enough, if you have not zoomed in close enough, and I'm doing this out of order, but if you haven't defined your why, those are the 5 reasons that you might be depressed about your goals. So thank you. Until next time, be your best human.